how does it evolve, and what are the different components that we have as part of Selenium and architecture of Selenium. Okay. So this is one good thing that we have everything documented as part of our official site, Selenium official site. I'll just open it. Okay. Before getting into that, let's go and try to dig about Selenium. What is Selenium and why do we need to use Selenium? Okay. So Selenium is like a web automation tool. So in this, so we have like Selenium is a web automation tool. Okay. Automation tool. So which will automate only web-based applications. Okay. So web-based applications. So what are the other applications that we cannot automate? It's like mobile applications and Windows-based applications. Mobile apps and Windows-based applications. So, and this is again, we have like a lot of languages that it support, like, language bindings that it support is like Java, Perl, Ruby, C#. Then we have Python. And then next we have like JavaScript. So other languages even. Okay. So these are the language bindings, and it's very simple architecture that we have. And this tool will be interacting with the, so what it does is like, it's going to execute the actions that we are doing manually. Okay. So interacting with the tool, interacting with different browsers. Okay. So what are those browsers? Namely, we have Chrome, Safari, Chrome, Firefox. Then we have Edge, then Safari Opera also. Okay. Safari and Opera. Okay. So namely, these are the different browsers that we have as part of like this. So then we have, what are the different components of Selenium is like, we used to have RC. So RC is now deprecated, and we have like WebDriver 4 now. So WebDriver 4 is the latest version. So before that, we used to have like WebDriver 0.3.0, and next one is like WebDriver 4.0. Okay. So latest release is like WebDriver 4.3 or something, but we discuss about 4.2. So then we have like IDE, and then next we have like a grid. Okay. So these are the different components, and you can see what it supports is like, it supports web-based applications. It doesn't support mobile apps. Okay. So we'll say that no support. Supports, I'll say here, support. No support. Here no support. Okay. So these are all about like, this is all about the Selenium automation tool. So these are the different things that we have. Okay. So how the history evolved, and who are the persons developed this application, and now where is that exactly, and what are the applications which are deprecated, or components which are deprecated. So this is deprecated. Okay. So this we are not using any time. This is kind of like what that is like. They just merged it with the, like we used to have a proxy. Now we don't have any proxy. They merged with the WebDriver. Okay. So we'll discuss about these things in detail. So for this, we need to go to the selenium.dev. Okay. So selenium.dev. So this is the official site, and you can see the history of it. Everything is like about Selenium. You can go and see. So it says like, the story starts in 2004 with ThoughtWorks in Chicago. So Jason Huggins is like, building core model as a JavaScript test runner. Okay. So first it started with JavaScript test runner. So this guy started like, test his own code. So for that, what he has done is like, he has designed a tool. So with that tool, he wants to just, execute his code and wants to see that how exactly it is working. Okay. So JavaScript test runner. So this was the like, core mode as a JavaScript test runner for the testing of an internal time and expenses application. Okay. So which was like designed in Python and so on. So this is kind of like a automation that he wants to do. Instead of doing his manual, like, manually going and testing it, he wants to have that things to be automated. So for that, he has come up with an idea and he started working on the tool called, initially we used to call it as like JavaScript test runner. So he started with that, and after that he made changes to this, and he started calling it as like a kind of a Selenium. Okay, so why do we need to use this? Like Selenium is eco-friendly, and it is like another one we have big advantages of Selenium is like it is open source. Open source in the sense cutting cost. We don't have any cost to use it. Okay, no cost. If something is getting as free, then everybody would be using that one, right? So we have an open source, and this is open source, and we have a wider community. Wider community in the sense now we'll be getting help out of this. Okay, so people will be like putting a lot of things like if you need any help from the community, then we have to we can approach this community. Okay, so other thing is like you can see there are other tools. We have QTP. We call it as like UFT now, Unified Functional Testing. Okay, so this tool is like it is commercial tool, and we have a community, but it is like paid community. We have to pay for that. Okay, we can get the help, but we are going to pay for it. So there is nothing but UFT. We have other tools also. We have like test complete, and then we have this one. What we say, eggplant, and then we have like other tool called protractor, and like now we are hearing about like Cypress. Okay, so these are the different tools, but what makes the difference unique is like this is open source and it supports wider community and different languages, and it has like different components, and then it supports different browsers, and it's like platform independent. You can run it on Linux, like whichever platform that you are using, Linux, Windows, Mac OS. Okay, so these are all different platforms that we have, which will be supported by the which the Selenium is supported on. So with this you can see here it is like he has given the history, like Jason Huggins has started this, and after that it has got like lot of evolution. So you can see how this history evolved. The story of 2004, so where the tool has been introduced. Okay, so here the Jason Huggins is like he started building it. After that, the person called Paul Hammett, like he was the ThoughtWorker employee. So like he saw the demo and he started writing some more scripts to it. Okay, so adding few things like how can we exactly execute this particular tool on a different machines, and how do we use it, and he started thinking about it. And after that he got to know that there is a same origin policy. For example, if you have some same origin policies, like so if you have some set of domain, only that domain would be executed. Like, when we have something like, for example, google.com, if I'm using google.com. So whatever site, whatever kind of, applications that we are trying to execute on this machine, on the browser, which has like .com as like a kind of a domain that we are using. So only this domain will be executed. Like, whatever you are going to execute on this browser with this domain, so only that domain will be executed. So if you try to use some yahoo.com, it will not work. Okay, so that's nothing but same origin policy. Okay, so that would get around the same origin policy, and he thought like this we have to address. Okay, same origin policy is like if you want to execute on a same in a different domain. For example, it can be yahoo.com, it can be some other, you can say that some reddit.com. So it was not executing that. Okay, so what they thought is like they started using some other servers wherein they are going to get the help of that, like kind of like proxy. Okay, so they are going to create proxies for each and every domain to address the same origin policy. Okay, same origin policy is like if you try to execute different domains, then it will not allow. Only it will allow in this one domain. That's nothing but google.com. If you try to launch something is google.com. So if you want to work on this, so it will only take care of like google.com. Then in between, like if you try to log in into this, like, log in or open this yahoo.com. So in that case, what it does is like, it's going to throw the error. I mean, like it will not go and identify the elements on that. So for that, what they thought is like, see, there's other persons like, colleagues as like, and Mike. So they started, experimenting with different ideas of server pieces, like including page rewriting it. So this is nothing but to address the same origin policy. Okay, so then they thought like they have to introduce something, and they started introducing the new component called ALSI. Okay, so Thought Workers is a various software. So this is like Thought Work is like a company, and Thought Workers are nothing but the employees of that company. Okay, so they started establishing the things which can be addressed to to remove the limitations of this particular tool. Okay, so JavaScript test runner. So to remove the limitations is nothing but same origin policy. Okay, to remove that same origin policy, they started doing some experiment on it. So meanwhile, outside the people is like, now what is happening is like, meanwhile outside of the ThoughtWorks, so there are some other persons that we can call as like Nilsson and Paul came to the conclusion of that driver server. So they want to have this, like, there's a client and the server. So what they can do is like, instead of executing on a single machine, they have come up with a client and a server. So client is like, it will send the instructions and server will execute it. So in that, they have come up with the idea called Selenium remote control. Okay, so remote control is like Selenium remote control. So you can directly see RC architecture. RC architecture of Selenium. So here we can see RC architecture. Let me just add. So see, RC architecture, the original version is like RC components. What we used to do is like, here you can see Windows, Linux, and Sun. So Selenium core, and we used to have like application, whatever we are trying to test it. And after that, we used to have like remote control server. Okay. So here we have actual code that we are writing. So what it is to do is like, first we write the code and it will be taken care by, it's kind of like a mediator. RC controller is like a server which used to take the instructions from the ID. For example, if you are developing some application in Eclipse, now it will take the instructions from here. It will go and try to divert this. Okay, nothing but you can see that now what it is doing like RC controller, it is going to execute this particular piece of code on Edge and Firefox and the Selenium. Okay, Selenium, whatever it is like, Selenium, Safari. Okay, so likewise, it used to execute it. Okay, so it's kind of like it's going to create a proxy for this. Okay, proxy is nothing but it's piece of a thing that will be as like, which is acting like, which is kind of like a virtual machine. Okay, so which is kind of like a virtual machine which will be executing those instructions on a real machines. So what they thought is like, they have come up with this, and the thing is like, this is kind of like a button for us. So we have to install Selenium and we have to install RC also. Okay, so RC and Selenium also. These are the two things that we have to install. So after that, sorry. So meanwhile, the other person, so they're like, kind of working on this to address this issue also. So after that, we see that what is happening with that and what exactly, how exactly this WebDriver has evolved. So meanwhile, the other person is like, it's like Kasatani is like, is a person who is from the Japan. So he started working on this Selenium ID. So Selenium ID is like one of the component of Selenium. So generally we don't discuss about it. Only the thing is like, we'll see some instructions, how do we exactly use it and what are the different how does it exactly looks. Okay, so this person has introduced Selenium, like, he became interested in Selenium and he realized that it could wrap the code into the IDE model. Okay, IDE model is like, it's an integrated development environment only to write the scripts for the Selenium. So he started designing the IDE. So here you can see there is a small option at the right top, right? Selenium IDE. Okay, so this is the component of Selenium. When I click on it, you'll see the window will be open. Okay, so now it's kind of like it is opening and it's like new version of it. So record a new test. If I try to record it, just you need to click on the record test and you have to give the project. Okay, for example, if I'm giving test, so here I'm going to give google.com. So start recording, it will open the same browser. Okay, automatically it is opening in the Firefox browser. I'm going to say text something here. Selenium architecture. Okay, I got it. When you click on it, some site, okay, anything that you can just click on it and you'll see. So what is happening? This is kind of like a record playback. Okay, I'm just clicking on this, closing this button. Now you see whatever actions that I have performed, right? I opened, I set the browser, I clicked on some element and just typed it, and I clicked on this particular element and mouse over on this, and I'm clicking. These are the actions which are performed, right? So what is happening now? It's kind of like a record and playback. So how do we run it now? So we need to stop this. I'll say the test name is like test sample. Test sample and click on it. Okay. So now we got this. So just click on this. So what it does is like it will open. It will enter. Okay. So now you see it clicked on this Selenium architecture, then it closed. Okay. All the actions, whatever we have performed is like record playback. So what is not possible in this, and why don't we use it as part of like, automating these scripts using the Selenium is like, so we cannot add like, any custom things that we cannot add. Example, element or any script that you want to add. Okay. So upload, download, or drag and drop. So reading data from the Excel file, this all cannot be happened here. Only it is kind of like record playback. Whatever action that you recorded, it will record it and it will go, it will play back it again. Okay. See now. I'm showing it again. Taking some time. Yeah. Okay. Something or the other, like these are the actions that it's going to perform. See now, all the actions are working, but still one action is not working. Okay, I'll stop it. Okay, we'll discuss about what is ID and what are the different things that we can achieve as well. Okay, so I'm going to leave this page and closing it. So this guy has started, designing the ID. So this ID would be like, helpful for us to record and play back the things. Okay, so then Google has started its interest into Selenium. So Jason Huggins left the ThoughtWorks, but he did not leave the interest of designing the Selenium, okay, in a better way for the usage of this tool with the we can automate this tool with the help of web applications can be automated with the help of this tool. So what he does is like he has introduced other things. So this is nothing but he has introduced some kind of object identification mechanism wherein we can identify the elements. So how do we, if for example, see this is a web page, and how do we identify this object? So we are like human beings, but how do we tell machine that this is about, and this is downloads, this is documentation, this is projects. So we may know all things, right? This is a paragraph and this is like title and all. But how do we tell the tool that what are these elements and how do we need to perform actions on that element? Okay. How does it need to perform action on the element? So this is like a button drop down. When we click on this, it will list you this. So this is kind of like a link. When I click on this, it will open some page. Okay. So this is nothing but this is kind of actions that we are going to tell the tool, and the tool will help us to automate them. Okay. So that is nothing but we need to have for that, we need to have the object identification. So likewise, we have 7 object identifications in Selenium. So that we call it as like ID, name, class path, class name. Then we have XPath, CSS, link text, and partial link text. So these are the 7 identification ways that we can identify the element, and we can tell the tool use this identification and identify the element and perform some action on it. Okay. For example, if you want to perform support is like a button. So it's kind of like you can see that it's a hyperlink. Okay. So when I click on it, it will do some action. So of post I need to verify whether it has clicked and perform support or not. Okay. So all these things we are going to discuss as part of Selenium and object identification. Okay. So he started exploring more on it, and he thought has coded their own great capability of Selenium's RC. So Selenium RC is like introduced, and after that they started using this application with the help of like Selenium RC. So that we looked into the architecture, right? How the RC was evaluated. Okay. So now we'll go back. So the one good thing with the Selenium is like we have everything documented, and that is not available everywhere, but it is only available under this Selenium dev. Okay, you need not to go anywhere. We have like Selenium dev. Selenium dev will help you with all the things. Okay. So everything that we have, like in this case, we have documentation, APIs, and whatever APIs that we want to have, like whatever, these are the different components, Selenium Grid. And then we have like, different set of drivers that will support as part of executing the application on that particular browser. Then we have like clients or client language bindings, clients and language bindings. Okay. So these are the clients and language bindings. We'll discuss in detail about it. And we have IDE also. So you can directly go and click on this, it will download. Okay. So for Chrome, Firefox, and Edge also. So if you want to download for this ID, the ID for the Chrome, you can just click on this and it will download. Okay. So it will show the previous release also. And we have a Maven information and different browsers it's going to support. It will show all these are the different browsers that we have and different operating systems also. Okay. So everything is there in this. Okay. And other thing is like it will help us to execute our code on the cloud machines also. Like we are going to see like Sauce Labs and Browser Stack also. How do we execute it? Lambda test is also one other tool. And so these are the different tools that we have. Like, these are the sponsors as well as like supporting for execution of the Selenium scripts on the cloud. Okay. So let me go back and we'll discuss about few more things about the history of it. Okay, so the story started from 2004 and it went on like, designing the RC's IDs. And after that, they have introduced a new thing called, instead of using this RC, they have introduced a new thing called remote WebDriver. Selenium WebDriver. So which is component of remote WebDriver also. Okay, so let me show you the documentation of it. So, so WebDriver drives a browser natively, and learn more about it. How do we do it? Is like we have this WebDriver. It's kind of like it's going to communicate with the browsers. Okay, so what is the architecture and how does we communicate our instructions with the server? Is like we look into it. So, but this is like WebDriver that we have is like latest version of the WebDriver is like 4.4, and we can see which version we are running on it. So again, see the recommendations that W3 has come up with. Okay, so now we have like you can see recommended 05, 2008 and 2018. So these are the few things that we have like look into the documentation of W3C. Okay, so W3C is like a world consortium, so wherein it will have like all the websites whatever we are hosting. So we need to have the permission from them. Otherwise, it will not be like listed. It's not kind of like a listed site. Okay, so not secured or listed site. Okay. So these are the things, guys. So let me just show you the documentation, API documentation of it. Should have driver.
Shrikanth, are you recording this class?
Yes, yes, it's recorded. So again, we have a steps also. How do we install this? Install a Selenium web library, installing browser drivers, write your first scripts, upgrade to Selenium 4. So these are the few things, guys. So when you just go through it, so it will show you like how do we exactly use it. So we should have this documentation. I just want to show you the documentation, API documentation of it. So let me just go back. Yeah, here you can see. So these are the different table of contents, and you can see what are the different things that we have as part of like Selenium WebDriver. Okay, so Selenium WebDriver. I'm just clicking on some of the classes so that we can see. I'll go and try to click on this. These are the different set of actions that we can perform. See what it does, like if we take this Selenium, this is a class, window class, and window type. Set the set for a set of supported window types. Okay, so it's like tab and windows. These are the different things that we have as part of this Selenium WebDriver class. So let me just go to driver. Documentation. Go back. Web driver. I'll type the web driver. Okay, let's go with Selenium Pro. So this is like, see, WebDriver. This is kind of like a interface that we have. So WebDriver is an interface, guys. Okay, WebDriver is an interface, and we have like different classes, implementation classes of it. So here you can see WebDriver, Chrome driver dot WebDriver. So we have like, this is the implementation class for this. In WebDriver is like interface. For that we have a remote WebDriver. Under that we have Chrome driver, and then we have Edge driver and Firefox driver. Okay. So let me just go ahead and I'll show you the detailed documentation of it. So we'll go to the other sites and we'll see that what is the architecture and how does it exactly works. This is the older version of it, interface. You can see WebDriver is an interface. So what is the super interface of WebDriver is like search context is like super interface. In this search context, we have two methods which are like find element and find elements. Okay, so these are the two methods. Okay, we'll discuss about these things. Just I want to show you like what is WebDriver. So WebDriver is like a one component of Selenium. So what are the other components of Selenium? We have IDE, we have a grid, and we have RC, and we have Selenium WebDriver. RC is like deprecated, we are not using anymore, but still we call it as the component of Selenium. And here in this WebDriver, so latest version of WebDriver is like, you can see the documentation, it says like latest version is 4.0. Okay, so 4.0 is like latest version. So let me just see, yeah, 4.90. See, here we have different things that has been introduced here. Okay, so when you go to the super interfaces, okay, search context is a super interface. So what are these? What are the known sub interfaces of search context? Is like, it is WebDriver and web element. Okay, these are the two interfaces which are considered as like a sub interfaces of super interface search context. So what is the super thing in what is the greatest root node of Java is like object, but here in case of Selenium is like search context is the root node. Okay, root interface of all the interfaces and classes. Okay, so it has like two methods. One is find element and find elements. So these two methods will be available in WebDriver and web element. Okay, this is important interview question, guys. So what is the super interface of Selenium is like search context is super interface, and we have two methods in it. Okay, two methods in it which will help you to identify the elements, and these are the two sub interfaces. Okay, so I'll show you a small diagram of it. So how this exactly what is the hierarchy of it. Okay, so here we have search context, then we have driver, and WebDriver and web. Again, for this WebDriver, we have remote driver. So this is a class, guys. Okay, so under this remote WebDriver, we have a Chrome driver, and we have Firefox driver, and Edge driver. Okay, so what is the hierarchy? So this interfaces are implementing. Okay, it's kind of like a So implementing the interfaces. So extending, sorry, okay, extending this search interface, search context is the super interface. And it's going to extend like WebDriver is going to extend this search context and web element is going to extend the search context. And after that, we have implementation class. Okay. So remote WebDriver is the implementation class of WebDriver. And again, we have like this remote WebDriver has like known implementation classes are like Chrome driver, Firefox driver, and Edge driver. Okay. So Edge driver. So these are the implementation classes of WebDriver. So what we do generally is like WebDriver, we are going to create a reference for this WebDriver and we are going to use the classes, implementation classes like Chrome driver, Firefox driver, or Edge driver. That we'll see how do we exactly use it. So that is the reason here this search context has like two methods which are available. That is nothing but find element. Another one is like find elements. Okay. So these two methods will be available as part of all this, whatever we have like WebDriver as part of like a web element. Okay. So let's see how does it exactly works. And this is like, the root path of this particular search interface. So you can say like this is like hierarchy of this particular WebDriver as well as like search context. So let's go back to this again and we'll see that how do we exactly use it. Okay. So what is a WebDriver? We looked into WebDriver as an interface and we have some implementation classes of that WebDriver also. And coming to the grid, for example, if you want to execute this particular test in a multiple machines and multiple versions and multiple browsers, so in that case, grid will help you to do that. Okay, it's kind of like it's going to take the same scripts and it's going to execute the scripts on a different machines. You can see, want to run tests in parallel across multiple machines, then grid is for you. Okay, so what it does is like it provides an easy way to run tests in parallel on multiple machines, allows tests on different browser versions, enables cross-platform testing. Okay, so this is the reason this Selenium is like very strong because it supports cross-browser testing, cross-platform testing, and different and parallel running modes. Okay, so it's like very easy. How do we configure it, and what are the things that we have to do? How do we create? How do we configure hub and nodes? And what are the different things that we can perform? Like we'll be looking into the standalone hub and node and hub. Okay, so these are like configurations. Every configuration is given on different ports. How do we execute and how do we configure it? That we are going to see. Okay. So when to use grid is like if you have anything which you want to execute on a different machines and different browsers. So to save your time. Okay. So here you can see if you have this many number of test cases and average time. So it is like calculating how much time it would execute, how much time it would take to execute multiple test cases. Okay. So this is how we can split the test cases and you can save your time. Okay. So this is like a grid that we are going to look into the grid and how do we configure. We'll execute them. We'll try to configure on a single machine with the different nodes that we have, one hub and different nodes. Okay. So that we are going to see in detail. So this is all about like the components of Selenium. So we looked into Selenium RC. RC is like it's deprecated. We don't see it. We don't see about the RC anywhere, but we saw the architecture of RC and we saw what is ID and from where we can download. So just you can see, you can click on this. So everything is available here. Okay. So you can just click on it and you can see if you want to have this documentation. See, documentation is everywhere. Everything is like given here. Okay, how do we record it? Okay, so just now I did it, right? So how do we record and everything? So if you want to go back and go to the documentation part and you can see ID here. So Selenium ID environments. So if you want to have the integrated element, download this Selenium IDs from this location. Okay, so just click on this Chrome download. It will start downloading for the Chrome. Okay, so let me open. So it's already Chrome is open here. I'll download. So we have this file. See, enable available on Chrome. So we have this already downloaded. Otherwise, you can go to this particular. It's already available on Chrome. It says like it's already available on Chrome. So now you can see, you can click on it. It started Oh, no, sorry. Let me just open this Chrome. Should have this as an extension. Click on this extension. See, Selenium ID. It's already available. So just click on that ID. It will show you this particular wizard. Okay. So click on this. Now you say test. You have to give the URL for which you want to automate. Okay. So google.com. And it will start with google.com. Maximize it. Enter selenium.dev. Click on dev. Click on this Selenium. Click on documentation. Let's close the browser. So when you close it, now you can see this all things are available here. So now what we need to do is like we need to save this. Okay, so we need to save this test somewhere. So I'm just saving it on. So we have saved it. Now you can stop this. Okay, so test. Recording is completed. Now click on this rerun, run button. You can see these are the actions that we performed, right? So selenium.dev. I just entered that selenium.dev here. So it should enter that selenium.dev. So we have recorded it, right? Let me just stop it again. I'm going to execute it. And just see what is happening here. Okay. So likewise, we can perform the actions, guys. And we have like different set of things that we'll discuss down the line. How do we identify this target? And this is not required. Basically, we don't use ID much and we are going to use DOM elements actually. Okay. So DOM, and which is like a kind of document object model, the developer tool. So from there, we are going to identify the elements. Okay. So this is about like ID, and how do we add this ID is like just go to the documentation and you can just see that here it shows like documentation ID. And if you want to have the integrated development environment for particular browser, click on this. It will show you like these are the browsers which are available here. Okay. So for the IDs. So likewise, they started working on this ID and like the ID, but ours is deprecated and it is available for execution of cross platform and cross browser. And then we have like Selenium WebDriver is like a main component which we use for automating the applications. Okay, so let me just go with a simple project here. Already have created some Maven project. So basically we start with the Maven project, but here to show you like we have the project already created, right? So here we need to add the jar files. So I'll just create before creating any jar files. Here I'm going to create a project called Selenium. Selenium.test. Sorry, a package called. Okay. So here, when I go here and I'm going to create simple, otherwise I'll say Selenium test class. Okay. To do this, we have some prerequisites. We need to have the jar files. So where it has to support the Selenium, right? So for this, what we do is like we are going to download the jars. How do we download the jars? This is like first program I'm going to do as part of Selenium. So go to the WebDriver. So you can say driver sessions and get started. Install Selenium libraries. So here we have for Java, these are the Selenium libraries. Okay, you need to select the Java. So otherwise we can do this is like installation of drivers and installation of libraries. So we'll go to the downloads. We'll go to the language bindings. Okay, here you can see Selenium clients and language, WebDriver language bindings. Okay, so which is the thing that we have to select? So we are not working on C Sharp, Ruby, Python, or JS. We are working on Java. Click on this particular. So this is a stable version. It is showing like 4.9.4 is like stable version. Click on it. It will start downloading this zip file. Okay, Java, Selenium Java is the file you can see. So I'm going to the folder. I'll extract this. Okay, so these are the libraries. See, all libraries we have. So we have to add all the libraries. So from both the folders, okay. One is like folder from the Selenium Java 4.0. Another one is like library also, okay. So I'll just close it. I'll go to the IDE. So right click on the project, go to the build path, configure build path, then library, you can see add external jars. Click on the add external jars. So go to the Selenium. So before this, now you see when I try to add something like, I'll just close it and try to see. I'm going to create a reference variable for the WebDriver, but we don't find any packages for that. Okay. So now we see the WebDriver driver. Okay. So it says like, okay, there is already, we have this available actually. So that is the reason why it is showing like import Java, import WebDriver here. Okay. So it's already available. So that is the reason why it is showing. But if it is not available, how do we add these libraries? Go to build path, configure build path, add external jars. Go here, add all the libraries. Okay. So all Selenium libraries open. Again, go back, try to add all of them from both the folders. Okay. Apply and close. Now it is like building. Here you can see building. Now we are adding all the jar files. So import driver. So we have this. So what are the other things that we have to do is like we need to have the driver. On which driver you want to execute. For that, I'm going to create a sample folder here. So naming it as like browser drivers. Okay. Just give me a second, guys. Just give me a second. Yeah, guys, I'm back. So for this, now you see we got the WebDriver, but what is the architecture of it is like, we need to, we'll see what is the architecture of Selenium. Okay. So how does it exactly work? I'll go and close it. Selenium div. Okay. So we have the architecture, which is taking like different architecture. So Selenium components, overview, design patterns, and this one, let's see, I have this again. Let me go with the images. Okay. So we have some images here. I'll show you how it exactly works. Yeah. Here we have this. So now you see host system. Okay. This is WebDriver. We have a bindings here and web drivers and browser. Okay. So this is nothing but language binding. So language bindings here and we have a WebDriver. Okay. So what it is like, this is, we can assume that this is kind of like ID. In that ID, we have a driver. Okay. WebDriver that we are creating. And after that WebDriver, we have to have the driver. Okay. So how does exactly it connects? It's kind of like an intermediary thing. Okay. So this is like actual browser. So this driver will help you to connect. It's kind of like a bridge between WebDriver and the browser, actual browser. Okay. So here you can see now what is happening. Before what we used to have is like, we used to have the remote WebDriver, RC here. So RC would create some proxy for this and it will connect to this driver, and this driver will be connecting to the browser. Okay. So here the RC would be there. So RC is remote now. So as we discussed, like remote WebDriver is like another class. It is kind of like what it does is like, it's going to take the instructions from this and it's going to connect with remote WebDriver, and this will be connecting to the driver, actual Chrome driver, and this actual Chrome driver will be connecting to the real browser. Okay. So Selenium Grid works in the same fashion, but we have a simple architecture here. You can see this is like a test frame, and this test frame would be communicating with the instructions which we have passed as like Selenium, like grid. This grid would be sending those instructions to the different browsers using the different drivers. Okay. In simple, this is like in the simple architecture it is showing up, but when we look into this, see we have, so JSON wire protocol is like no way with us now. So JSON wire protocol is replaced with the W3C. Okay. So earlier what we used to have, like, these are the language bindings. Okay. So what is the language that we are going to use? Java. So we already installed that language binding using the Selenium. So from where we have installed, so here you can see, we just went to this language binding. Okay. So clicked on this API, like whatever we have, like, 4.1, 9.0. So, and the documentation is also available, API documentation here. See what is the Selenium and what are the different interfaces that we have, classes we have, everything will be there in this Selenium. Okay. So basic is like, this is the package. So within this package, you can see there are a lot of things that we have. So remote WebDriver. So remote WebDriver is it. So you can see, you can just click on this. You'll see what are the different things that we have as part of remote WebDriver. As we discussed, it is an interface and super interface. And what are the known classes for this is like, these are the known implementation classes. So we want to run our code on the Chrome driver. For that, we need to have the Chrome driver, driver, which is like, suitable for the real browser. Okay. We'll discuss about these things. Now we'll go back to this architecture. Now you see, we have language binding Java. And JSON wire protocol, what it does is like, it's going to convert your request. So you're requesting, right? So when you're clicking on something, it's kind of like a request. That request should be fired. That request should be fired and it should be executed on the real browser. So to execute this JSON wire protocol, so what they do is like, to execute your request. So JSON wire protocol, what it does is like, it will convert that instruction, and this instruction will be sent to the browser using the browser driver. So this will be done over the HTTPS or HTTPS over server. Okay. So it's kind of like a request sent to the real browser, and real browser, what it does is like, it will execute this, like whatever driver that we have. So for example, if you don't have any driver specified, what happens now? So it doesn't understand, right? So on which browser I want to execute. So for this, we have this driver. So this driver will take the instructions, Chrome driver, and it will execute on the real browser. That's nothing but Chrome browser. Again, we are, after executing it, we'll receive the response from the server, right? This server response is taken back, and again, it's going to take it, like, Chrome driver will take care of it, and it will send it back to the JSON wire protocol. It's kind of like, again, we are going to get the response. So this is the architecture, guys. If somebody asks you what is the architecture of Selenium is like, you can easily explain them. That's nothing but Selenium language bindings we have. And this is like, we don't have this Java JSON wire protocol. Okay. So JSON wire protocol, let me just show you like 4.9.0. So this is the latest architecture. Okay. So automation code written in Java and HTTP, that is W3C. Okay. So again, we have like browser drivers are there, browsers are there, but JSON wire protocol is like, it's no more with us now. So it's like it's removed and we are using HTTP W3C instead of, making one connection with the JSON wire protocol. Now what that it is like, directly they are going to convert this request into HTTP. So that's nothing but W3C format. So this format will be taken care, like, this is like kind of a request will be formed and it will be executed and response will be coming back again. It is going to give us the response here. Okay. So they made it very simple. Earlier it was like this. Okay. Earlier it was like JSON wire protocol. We used to have this JSON wire protocol, but we don't have JSON wire protocol now. So only we have is like W3C HTTP. Okay. Directly they are converting this code into the HTTP request and sending it to the browser driver. Okay. Now we have this browser drivers also, which is available here. So let me just go back to the documentation. Selenium components. So these are the different Selenium components. Let me go to the downloads. Internet Explorer. Browsers, which is that we have the Chrome. Okay, so Chrome. So here you can see latest beta version and releases of it. It is showing up. So what is the version of this Chrome that we want to execute is like, we need to go and check the Chrome version. So click on this 3 dots, which is available here, and you can go to the settings, about Chrome. You'll come to know what is the version of it. Okay, still loading and it will update it and it will let us know the version of it. So once we get the version, we have to download the browser and a browser driver that we have to store it in the location. Okay, the folder that I've created. Okay, so I need to relaunch it and we can see what is the browser version. Okay, so it shows like 1130. Okay, go back to the Chrome and you can see this, it is showing like latest beta version and stable version is this one. So click on this, will show you these are the different files. Okay, so you need to download this. You can see that Chrome driver underscore win32.zip because you are going to execute in the Windows. So if you want to execute in Linux, you can download this one. If you want to execute in Mac, you can download this. I'm just clicking on this and downloading. Okay, the folder. So we extract them to this. And this is what the driver. Okay, so what you need to do is like copy this driver and go to the location. So here we have the browser drivers. Go to the properties, open the folder location, and here we can place it. Okay, so now we place that driver. So this is what the location that we have to remember. Okay, so now we have to load the driver, right? So to load the driver, there's a command. So I'm going to create a main method. System dot set properties. Okay, so property, set property, and you have to give the driver. Okay, web. So what is the driver that we are trying to load? Chrome driver. Okay, for that we have tried driver dot Chrome dot driver. Okay, and you have to give the location path here. Okay. So if you want to make it more kind of like dynamic, then you can create string driver location. So is equals to system dot get property in user dot dir. So till this point it will go and get it. So where is this is located? It is located under the browser. So directly you can give browser drivers. But what is the file that we have inside this? Refresh this. We'll see that file under the Chrome driver. Okay, driver location. Okay. First, we'll see that whether this is showing up the driver location or not. ID. So this we should have double slashes. It is coming up a single slash. Let me put it in this way. Escape sequence. Let's go and execute this. Now you got the driver loaded. Okay. So once you get this, I'm going to remove this. So we have made it dynamic so that when you try to execute the same code, it will get executed. Now what we need to do is like we need to create an object for this Chrome driver. So when you say Chrome, so you can see there are a lot of Chrome driver. So which one I'm taking is like this is the what this is what I'm going to take. So I've just created object for this particular class. Okay. So what are the implementation class of WebDriver? Go to this WebDriver. There is no documentation attached. I'll try to attach the documentation. External path. So here we should have source documentation. Should have the source documentation here. Yes? So I'm just trying to add it. Support source. So it will show you like what are the different components or different classes or interfaces that we have as part of that particular class. So it's not showing up, but it should show it. I'll try to add it, guys. So you can have the yeah. So now you can see WebDriver is the interface, and what it does exactly extends is all this search context, right? Search context is like super interface. So this is the public interface, and in that interface we have two methods. One is find elements and find element. Find elements and find element. Okay. So go back to this. I'll just close it. Now you see what are the different methods which are available as part of WebDriver. So WebDriver is an interface and it extends search context. Under this we have like, see, get method is like it will, what it does is like it will launch the it will open the web application. Okay. So it says like loads a new web page in the current browser window. This is done using the HTTP post or post operation, and the method will log until the load is completed. Okay. So until this load is completed, it will take care of it. Okay. So what is that is like, it's going to load the page and it will stop from there. So what it does, like here we have like clear documentation is given. So what it does is like it's going to load the page and it applies this page load strategy. We have different synchronizations. If the page is not loading, then what we have to do, everything that we are going to discuss as part of it. Okay. Now we have another one, the get URL. So current URL. So which URL that you are trying to load, it will show you this one. Get title is like it will get the title of the current page. And find element is like it will find the elements, list of elements. Okay, this is coming from the, see, it is coming from the search context. It will show you this is coming from the search context. This is also coming from the search context. So get page source, it will get you the page source of the current page. Close is like it will close the current window. Quit is like it will close all the windows which are opened by the particular driver. Okay. So we'll see all of them in detail. Don't worry about it. I'll explain everything in detail. So now what we have to do, as we discussed, like we have to use the, if you want to load the page, then load the browser, then we have to use the get method, driver.get method. So it simply says like loads a new web page in the current browser. So what is the browser that we are trying to open? Chrome browser. Okay. So let me just give some HTTPS www.google.com. After that, I'll wait for a few seconds and then I'm going to close the browser. Okay. So sleep, it's like static sleep that I'm applying here. So just declaration. So, and I want to see what is the title of that particular page. Okay. So for that, I'm going to use driver.get title. It will get me the title. And after that, finally, what you do is like you are going to close it, right? So close. So driver.get title will return you the string. Okay, that string should be captured, right? So directly I'm capturing the string in the, like I want to print it on the console. Okay, let's go and execute this. Right click and run as Java application. So now you see it will launch the Chrome driver and it will enter the https.www.google.com. Then it will get the title and close the title. Close the browser. Let's see.
Because you're not audible.
Hello, I'm audible now? Should just
Yes.
execute it. Is it hello?
No. So
Your
your
voice.
voice is breaking little.
Okay, now is it audible now?
Yes, yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So now you can see that now it is opening the web page and it will wait for some time and it will close it. Okay. So it will get the title and it will close it. Don't worry about this errors. What is the errors and all? We can see now. Okay. So you got the Google page. So this is how we'll be automating the application now. You see that I'll just try to maximize that. So for that we have driver.manage.window.maximize. Okay. So it's going to maximize the page so that I can clearly see that. Okay. Now you see when I execute this application, we execute this code and how this application is loaded in the browser. See, browser is launched. It's going to give the https www.google.com. Get the title and close it. See, it's maximizing and closing it. So we got the title here. Google is the title, right? So let's go back and see if that is the title or not. www.google.com. So to get the title, right click on this page, click on inspect. Okay, so go to the elements, close everything. This is not required. So go to this top expand this head, you can see the title. So this is the title, right? So now I want to verify if the title is perfect or not. Okay, then only I'm going to close the browser. So here I'm going to take one string here, sample string. Let's say title equals to Google. I'll write a simple assertion here. So this assertion will help you to validate it. Okay. So for this, I'm going to use set set. Otherwise, I'll use the assert equals. Okay? Assert equals. This one is title. Driver dot get title. If both of them are equal, then only it will go and close the browser. Otherwise, it will throw the error. Okay. It's kind of like a if statement. If this is true, then it will go and execute this one. Otherwise, it will throw the exception. Okay. So we'll try to execute this. If everything goes good, then it should close this browser. Okay, so it is fine. So if we have something here, Google 123, then it will show you like expected something and actually found something. It's not closing the page, right? So you can go and see what is that exception. Okay. So here it says like expected Google, but found Google 123. Okay. So assertions, we'll talk about assertions, soft assertions, hard assertions, how do we use. And what is the difference between close and quit is like close is like it will close the current browser if everything goes good. Quit is like it will close all the browsers which are opened by this particular driver. Okay. So if you are using multiple browsers, then what happens is like it will go and close everything. Okay, for example, now I'm going to take the same code. See, first I'm using close button. Okay. So close. I give Google. See how many browsers are open? 2 browsers are open. Now what happened? One browser is closed, other browser is not closed, but program ended. Okay. So to avoid this, what we do is like we are going to use quit. I'll close this one also. It opened first browser. There's something happened, but it should close all of them. Okay. Oh, we are using drivers. Okay, let me just see what happens here. Okay, the other one is not closed because we are using driver is equals to new driver again. Okay, so this we have to avoid. New prone driver. Okay, if I don't use this one, then what happens is like it will not open the new driver. So, but in case if you want to have, for example, let me just take a simple for loop here. Okay, where int I is equals to 0, I is less than 1, I plus plus. Okay, I'll repeatedly not write this one, but I'll just put it in a loop. Okay. Two. It should close it, guys. Actually, okay, let me just show you in window handle. When we open multiple windows with the same browser. So in that case, what happens is like it will go and close those browsers. Okay. So there's like other things that we can do. So still I can go and click on this some text browser. So for example, I just want to identify. Okay, let me open the Chrome browser and I can show you. So open the new tab. Otherwise, something that I want to open in a new tab is like when I click on this, it's still open the same tab. I'm taking some other sites, guys, wherein we can see multiple tabs should be opened. Okay. So and it will close that one. So this site. Okay, don't worry what I'm doing here. I'll explain everything later. Spot step once. Okay, I got this element. Now I will be clicking on this element. Okay. So I'll tell you how do we identify these elements in detail. Don't worry. So I'll just wait for 1 second here. Sleep. So thread dot sleep is like a static wait. Okay, it will wait for 5 seconds. If I say 5 seconds, then it's going to wait for 5 seconds. Five, what are find elements? Let's start. Just to demonstrate that what is the difference between close and quit, I'm showing this example. Okay. We need to wait for more time. Let's wait for more time. It opened the Chrome browser successfully. Exact exception that we are getting XPath, Chrome browser. Element not interactable. Yes, that I want to just show you like the difference between close and quit. I'm just waiting for that element to be loaded. Okay. So it will go and click on it after 15 seconds. So it says like it's element not interactable. This is one exception which is occurred here, which is interactable, but still some other element is receiving that click. Okay. So that is the reason they are not able to get it. Still, we have this element identification. Okay, so we take this one. Here. Exposition. Okay, let's take this one and try to. Okay, this is. Okay, now it clicked on. You can see there is a new tab which is opening. Okay, now you see all of them got closed. So quit, what it does is like whatever the browsers or whatever the tabs, whatever the windows it has opened by the single driver, then it's going to close all of them. Okay, so driver.quit. So that is what I was trying to show you. So finally what it does, it clicked on that element. So when it clicked on this element, it opened a new tab. Okay, it is similar with the Windows tabs, Windows also and tabs also. Okay. Okay, guys, I'll stop it here. Tomorrow we'll be talking about more things like how do we, what are the different things that we are going to perform as part of the automation testing. Okay. Please practice this, guys. This is very important, and you know you got this right. So how do we exactly install this Selenium? So I'll repeat the steps again.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Go to selenium.dev. Go to the downloads for installing the Selenium. Okay, for installing the Selenium. Scroll down and you can see here Selenium clients and WebDriver language binding. You can see which one you want to choose. Is like you have to choose the Java. Click on this. It will install the. It will download. Okay, sorry, not install. It will download that particular package. After that, you have to extract, and then you get those jar files here, right? Go back to the downloads. You can see the jar files here. These are jar files. So to add the jar files, what you need to do is like go to the project, right click on it, build path, configure build path. Then you can click on add external jars and add the jar files here, which are in Selenium Java and library also. Okay. So all you have to add now. So after adding this, go back to the Selenium HQ and you have to go to the browsers. Click on this browser platform. It will be like under platform supported by Selenium. And here you can see all the browsers which are supported. Click on this Chrome documentation. Now you can see all the downloads are available here. The latest one you have to check here. So where do we check the version here? So go to the browser and we have 3 dots here. Click on to the settings. Then it will show you the version of the browser. Okay. So if you say Firefox support or something, not here. But here you can see, yeah, we can check the version of Firefox and we can install that. Okay, so if you want to work on this Firefox privacy and settings, we have about Firefox. For this, I think they have changed it. Okay, more from Firefox. Basically. Otherwise, directly you can go and check for Firefox browser version. You might have set it. So here you can have the version. Okay, so Windows 11, you can get the versions of Firefox if you want to exit on Firefox. Otherwise, you can go to the Chrome driver and you can check the version. So from where we can check the version, go to the Chrome. I'm just showing in Firefox and Chrome. You can check it in the Edge also. You can go to this and here the settings. Firefox, it is easily located. Okay, so about Chrome, you can see it is showing this is the version. Okay, so if you find this version, you have to you have to download the greater one or equal to one. Okay, so it is like version should be greater. So I don't take the beta version because this could be like, kind of like in the testing phase. So stable version is like this is a stable version. Click on it, it will download. After downloading it, you have to create a folder in the particular project. Like I have created is and place that particular .exe file under this folder. Okay. So after that, you have to write this piece of code. Okay. This is nothing but system.set properties. So which driver you want to locate? For example, if you want to go with the Firefox driver. Okay. So let me just go and show you in the Firefox also. Gateway releases. So latest one is like this. It shows like gateway releases. Yeah, this one is the latest one. Okay. So how did I navigate? Go back to this Gecko driver. You can see all these are available here. So what you can do is like you can click on this. The showing table shows the mapping between these releases. So click on this releases, Gecko drivers releases, and scroll down, and you can find this Gecko driver. Okay, Firefox it says like Gecko driver. Copy this. You go to this, paste it here. You got the Gecko driver. So here you have set the Chrome driver, right? So you have to set the Gecko driver. Chrome.driver. Okay. So here you need to change the Firefox. Oh, we have to change this one also, right? Firefox driver. So that's not them, but Gecko driver. Gecko driver. It's not loading. What is that? Then the capabilities. Go back and see what is that we have in case of Selenium. Driver versions, local driver, remote driver. Then, okay, let me go to this downloads. Documentation. These are the options actually it is showing. Arguments. We'll see what is that actually. Selenium. So directly you can type Selenium. We have a lot of, we can research in Google also, okay? Right, for K4 driver properties. So you can go to that Selenium HQ. There also you can have this. So I suggest you to check the Selenium dev always, okay? So because it will have all the details. So Selenium WebDriver dot. Okay, so this is the Firefox.driver. Okay, so we got this. Now it is opening the Firefox driver. Okay, it does the same action. Okay, so we got the same thing. So how do we do it? So you have to just download the driver and you need to change this. Okay, so this is a property. So from where you can get the properties. So selenium.webdriver.firefox.webdriver. So this is the property file. Okay, so this is like property. Where do we get it? So you can search it over the internet, but I advise you to go to the selenium.net. Okay, so here you can see selenium.webdriver.firefox.driver. So you need to take this class. Okay, so you need to give that one. So once you give it, it will start loading the, launching the browser, Firefox browser, and it will load the application. Okay, this is for the Firefox. Try to give 2 examples at a time so that it will be easy for you guys to understand. Let me paste it somewhere here. Okay, let's do it tomorrow. Okay, so don't worry. So for now, you can try with the Chrome driver.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Okay, guys, let's meet tomorrow again. Okay, so please practice this and let me know if you have any doubts. First thing you need to do is that today we need to download the Selenium server and add the required drivers and execute the code. Okay, this is a simple code that you can see. You can execute it. Okay, I'll try to upload this. Whatever we have written inside this class, right? So I'll upload this package and you can work on that. Okay. Thanks, guys. Thanks for your time. Let's meet tomorrow at same time and we can continue with the Selenium.
Thank you, sir. Bye-bye.
Thank you, guys. Bye.